Hey, Billy with Power Core 360 here today with Earl Gerlach, PGA Pro at Collindale Golf Course in Fort Collins. Hey, I went over last night to hit some golf balls. Today's April 1st, so it was the last day of March. I run into Earl at the academy and he says, hey, what do you want to talk about tomorrow morning in the blog? And I'm like, I don't know, what do you think? He says, well, what'd you say to me?
I really want to talk about the hips and a little bit of how they work in the golf swing and some ways that we might be able to improve some hip rotation.
Gotcha. And he said to me, one of the most common things I see out here, the most common thing I see with amateurs is that they don't turn their hips. And as I thought about it this morning and we talked a few minutes ago, and I said, is it that they don't or that they can't? Okay. Junior golfers, young people playing golf don't have an issue turning their hips. They can't control their hips. That'll be a subject of a blog another day. Today we're going to talk about maybe 30-year-olds and up who are doing this for a living, right? They're sitting, and when we sit, whether it's in the office, the chair, the couch, the conference room, or the airplane, man, the hips get tight in the front.
Yes.
And in the golf swing, the hip turn is important, right? And maybe for a second, just touch on that. Why is hip turn important in the golf swing?
It's really what drives the rotation of what we do in the golf swing. Without the hips turning and to be able to rotate our body through, we lack a lot of power and consistency. Actually, we can cause a lot of stress on our body, a lot of stress again on each of the mobile joints that we have. And actually, when we are not able to move, then we can cause a lot of injuries as well. So I see a lot of, actually, we were just talking about this, some like back injuries, which actually stem more from your hips than your back itself, and we'll touch a little bit more on that later.
Yeah. And that's a good segue because oftentimes the back gets hurt because the hips are supposed to be this joint that moves, right? But when you sit a lot like this, whether you're 30, 40, 50, or 80, your hips lock up and you've lost your ability to turn, right? It's a function of I can't turn versus I just don't.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about tightness today, and we're going to show you 3 exercises, simple exercises you can do at home to help open up your hips so that you can start to turn your hips, right?
Love it.
Okay. To begin with, I'm going to get out of the seat and I'm going to have you go through just a little simple golf swing and get a feel for it. It's 8:20 in the morning, and I want you to get a feel for how your hips feel, right? So take a little easy golf swing. And once you get all the way through to your finish, and just tell me what you feel around your hips, front, side, back, any tightness?
I'm feeling a little tightness actually in my glutes in the back, and I'm especially feeling some tightness right here in my adductors, my hip flexors right here in the front. I'm feeling a lot of tightness there.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take him through 3 stretches and see what happens before and after to see if they help you at all,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So we're going to do the first one. I'll have you face me. We're going to do a what's called a hip flexor stretch. Hip flexors are muscles on the front side of the hips right here. And oftentimes the muscles on the front side are one of the biggest culprits in our inability to turn the hips. So what I'm going to ask him to do is just take his hips forward towards me. And what I want him to do as he's doing this, I want him to tighten his lower abdominal muscles, keep them tight. And all he's going to do is bring his pelvis forward, hold that, right? And I want him to breathe for 20 or 30 seconds. As you're doing that, Earl, where do you feel tightness right now?
It's pulling right here, right on the hip flexor, right on the inside.
Okay, which was one of the same areas you just talked about in the golf swing that felt tight, okay? So 20 to 30 seconds, we're going to hold that. He's breathing, and once again, we're keeping the lower abdominal muscles tight. If we don't, what will happen is he'll arch his back to get there, and we're stretching the back versus the hip. All right, stay there. Switch legs if you would. Lower abs are on. He's just taking his hips and pelvis forward. Feel a comfortable stretch. He didn't get tight overnight. He's not going to completely stretch out and open the hips in one session. I'd suggest for you guys at home you do 2 or 3 of these with each leg, okay, and then you move on. All right, I'm going to have you lay down on the ground on your side, and we're also going to work on the quads. Quads are on the front of the thighs as well. And scoot out a little bit more. There you go. You're going to take your top leg, grab your top ankle, and all you're going to do is pull it back so you feel a comfortable stretch. Once again, lower abs are kind of on. And now as he's doing this, he's going to get a nice stretch on the front of the quad, probably a little bit in hip flexor as well.
Yeah, I can feel it right there in the quad.
Okay. So 20 to 30 seconds. We're breathing. Hold that at a point where it's comfortable. If you can't actually grab your ankle, take a towel, take a rope, do something, throw it around your ankle and bring it up if you're that tight. If you're that tight, it'll also tell you why you can't turn your hips. Rotate, turn your head around the other way. Let's go the other leg. All these 3 stretches you should be able to do in 2 or 3, 4 minutes. Lower abs are on, he's pulling this back, holding that comfortable stretch, and once again, he's probably feeling it on the front of the quad, maybe even into the groin, front of the hip, all the above, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's huge. Being able to stretch those muscles out so that we can rotate is huge.
Once again, 20 to 30 seconds, we're breathing, and we probably do 2 or 3 times on each leg, right? Last one, I'm going to have you stand up. We're going to work on the muscles on the back of the thigh, the hamstrings, right? And so all I'll have you do is maybe just put your hands on your hips, and you're just going to kind of squat down, lunge down a little bit, and then, yeah, sit into that right hip a little bit. And all we're looking for on the back of this left leg, and maybe on the inner thigh, the groin, all our muscles around the hips, and we're going to take that to a point of comfort like everything else, hold it and breathe for 20 to 30 seconds.
I can particularly feel this one on the inside of my legs, which I really like. Those adductors kind of hook into that muscle that goes all the way down into your knee, and so when you feel that tightness there, and when you're stretching that out, you might even feel it. I can feel it almost down into my knee area, like pulling on some of those muscles down there, so stretching the inside of the leg.
Cool. Let's go the other direction towards me. Hold and breathe, and I'm always going to cue you guys, turn your lower abs on, right? That'll help you get the stretch in the hips and not in your low back. You may feel a difference in the right leg versus the left on any of these stretches. One might be shorter and tighter than the other, but work on both of them. All right. We're going to go a little post-test now. So go back in your golf swing. Nice and easy, turn back.
Oh my gosh, so much different. Yeah. I can feel such a huge difference even with just those few stretches and being able to open up my hips so that I actually can turn. Sort of the same feeling where sometimes if you needed a little help being able to rotate your hips, you might turn your feet just slightly out to start with a little external rotation. But in this case, I feel like I can stay at neutral and I can really turn much easier into my hip. It feels much more fluid when I turn.
Yeah. I'm going to add one other thing. Let's do this. Now that you've opened that up, which is huge, go ahead and go to your end range. So go to your finish position, go to your backswing, downswing, get to your finish, and now just hold that for me for about 20 or 30 seconds, right? And right now, what do you feel stretching?
I still feel the adductor here on the inside, particularly with the internal rotation into my left hip. I can feel that muscle down still stretching.
So I'm actually getting him to that point. We're actually getting a little bit of a preview of where we're going on the next episode. While he's stretching the left side, left adductor, left groin, if you would, he's actually working on hip and core muscles to give him some strength. So that's it for today. Those are 3 simple, easy exercises you can do at home to open your hips. So it now becomes you can turn your hips. Next time we're going to talk about strength exercises that will actually help you now turn your hips better, faster, even generate more power.
Love it. Yeah, a little bit faster hip turn, a little bit better, maybe even separation, or if nothing else, just better rotation will put us into a more efficient so that not only are we making better contact, but we're getting better distance, we're hitting it more at our target. All the things in golf that we like to do can be achieved actually by having some good rotation in our hips.
Awesome. If you like this video, please like it down below. If you want further information on PowerCore 360 products, go to powercore360.com. See you next time.